As a private legal practitioner joining us. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us. Also joining us on Zoom, we have Daniel Yaw Domelevo, a former Auditor-General of the Republic of Ghana and also a member of the oral preparatory team joining us, and the board chair of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. Daniel Yaw Domelevo, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity.
Great. It's good to have you. Mr. You said that all these properties are alleged to have been acquired through this said criminal enterprise. Doesn't surprise you, including the over 60 luxury bags and 1.5 million and over watch that Attorney General said?
No. I mean,
it doesn't surprise you?
No, it doesn't.
What else do you
me.
need to be surprised?
The figures are shocking, but no, because you see, I think we need to do some social research.
Mr. Domelevo, you want to say something?
Yes, the figures are huge and mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised.
Exactly.
Why am I not surprised? It's because there have been no consequences for misbehavior for a very long time. People have been getting away with this all over the years. So people are just taking it from one level to another. When I joined the public service in the early 90s, there were stealings, embezzlement was left and right, but amounts were quite small. Come to the 2000 era, the figures started rising. Now see where we are. One person takes an amount which you cannot even think about. It is unfathomable to expect that one person will steal all those monies. You don't even know what they do with the money. So I'm not surprised. It's because there are no consequences for misbehavior in the public sector. We must make everything possible to hit any other person who steals public funds. We are not angry enough as Ghanaians. I don't think this is acceptable. We have bad roads, we have hospitals not functioning, schools not functioning, etc. A lot of infrastructure we need, and people who are put in public positions to solve these problems rather appropriate these resources for their personal use is terrible. So the amounts are mind-boggling, but I'm not surprised that is happening. And if you don't take time, one day we wake up and we are told that total consolidated fund is gone. There's no money left in it.
Oh, you fear we'll get to that point, that the total consolidated fund will be looted?
Yeah, because they have a huge percentage. You calculate the percentage that Auditor-General comes out with each year. It's huge. So when you reach 100%, it means everything is gone. We will be having no money to run our schools, run our roads, run our hospitals, etc. But it is time Ghanaians become very, very disturbed and hold government accountable and call for changes in the legal system so that we can get this done as quickly as possible. That is why, if you permit me, I will say that in my personal view, I appreciate what Attorney General and all the anti-corruption agencies are doing to hold people accountable, including filing cases against them at the courts. But there are some legal amendments, if we don't make, we are going to go nowhere. One of them is the reverse burden. In fact, if you have unexplained wealth, that should be enough for us to convict you. If Daniel is earning 20,000 a month, at the end of the year, it's 240,000, assuming he doesn't even spend any money. So how come that Daniel within a year has 20 million in his account? That should be enough for us to convict people. If we don't pass those laws, and again, put a time limit on trials. If you go to Nigeria, they have made a good progress. The Supreme Court in Nigeria, based on Section 306 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and then Section 40 of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act, has prevented stay of proceedings. They say there will be no stay of proceedings in criminal cases. So we should apply that, if not to all criminal cases in Ghana, at least to corruption-related cases. To say, once we start trying you on corruption, you can't go to a higher court and come back and tell us that stay proceedings, let me finish my appeal before you continue, so that we can bring finality. And a law must guide us. If China could convict somebody within 3 months, Ghana, we should also be able to convict somebody at least within a year. If we can't do 3 months, we can't do 6 months, we can't do 9 months, 12 months, we must be able to bring it to an end. Because until we do that, the prayer of the criminals and their lawyers is that they will continue dragging the case until there's a change in administration or government. Then you hear nolle prosequi, and then the case drops off and our money is gone. So that is the challenge we face, and I think these changes are very necessary. And since we don't only want to fight corruption in terms of monies that have already been stolen, but also to prevent additional stealing, I'm also calling that we should amend the Internal Audit Act, Agency Act, to make the internal auditors independent of the principal spending officers, so that they can provide proper assurance, not fearing that their salaries will remain the same, or they'll be transferred out of their duty stations, or they will not get promotions, or they can even be sacked. We must do that. These are low-hanging fruits. That is what I mentioned the last time, that 9 months gone, and people didn't understand that I said 9 months we should receive proceeds from the corruption. No. I was saying that there are low-hanging fruits, legal amendment or changes, which can go to Parliament quickly. We pass it so to make the legal framework conducive for fighting corruption.
I see, because it's a very important point you make about the period of prosecution, because before you joined us, there had been proposals that there should be some reforms to ensure that at least 6 months, maximum 1 year, would have finished, and concluded on cases, specific cases on corruption, so that at least there'll be some speedy trial to it, instead of having cases run 4 years, 8 years. And as one of my panel members indicated, these accused persons, they have deep pockets, so they can get the best of lawyers who know how to maneuver the legal system to prolong cases. And we may never see the end of it.
I cannot agree more with the person who made the point. And then they don't, not only lawyers that they can procure, they even can procure judges. So the judge see your case so bad, and you say, okay, what I can do to help you is that I'll keep adjourning it until there's a change in government. When your party comes, then they can throw it out. So the judges can also be part of it. In fact, I think that if we cannot do the same thing like 3 months or 6 months, even let's put it at 9 months or even a year, I have no problem. But this instance of we can establish that the gentleman has in his or her, the lady has in her possession property that cannot be explained in any circumstances as related to genuine sources of income, but the trial continue going, I think is not helpful. So judges who also preach this must be guilty of misconduct, because the law says try the case, finish within a year. You go beyond a year, it should be a ground for you being cited for misconduct, so that there will be sense of urgency. But also I would like to plead that we must increase the capacity for the justice delivery system. If the Supreme, the Judiciary, they need more judges. In fact, I saw 824 or so lawyers being called to the bar. They should recruit some of them, even if it is on part-time basis. Some lawyers can become judges and start hearing cases in the evening. We don't have to all go to court at 9 o'clock and by 3 or 4 o'clock we all close. No, we must change the system. The 24-hour economy should start in the judiciary also, so that we can get part-time judges, so that they can come and sit and hear these cases, and we bring finality to them as quickly as possible. Because the fact that the money is not yet in the Consolidated Fund, it cannot be put to the use that the taxpayer paid for it to be put to. So the earlier, the better. It is said in the Judiciary, justice delayed is justice denied. So we are being denied justice by delaying these things. And I think we should all call for this low-hanging fruit. This is the easiest thing to be done. We just need a bill to go to Parliament and a certificate of agency, and it will be passed, and you have a robust system to fight corruption, and it will bring deterrence. People will see that we are now serious, and people will not play with our public funds anymore. Thank you.
I see. But then you were one-time Auditor-General, and you make this proposal of an amendment to the Internal Audit Agency Act, so that auditors will be independent of the principal spending officers. There was a question that I asked earlier of why, if every year you, as Auditor General, you're responsible for auditing all of these state agencies. You put out a report which becomes a subject of conversation every year. You capture irregularities and infractions and so on. And yet you are unable to uncover this depth of infractions or malfeasance. It has to take further forensic audit and further investigation to uncover institutions that you, Auditor-General, has audited. That's concerning, is it not? Because then they have to wait for after 4 years, 8 years, when there's a change in government, there's a certain level of commitment now to go into further the audit report that Auditor-General has put together, which does not uncover this extent of rot in state-owned enterprises or agencies of state. Mr. Domelevo.
Thank you very much. I think I need to explain something for fellow Ghanaians to understand. If you look at the mandate of the Auditor General under Article 187, especially Clause 2, it covers not just the central government, the district, the universities, almost all government institutions. Then you go to Clause 5. It requires that the Auditor General finishes his audit and submit his report to Parliament within 6 months after the end of the financial year. So one may even think that Auditor General got 6 months. No. When the financial year ends, the Public Financial Management Act gives the ministries, department, agencies 2 months to prepare their accounts. So they take 2 out of the 6. It's left with 4. Then the Public Financial Management Act gives the Accountant General 3 months. So another 1 month added to that of the MDAs. So it is left with 3 months. So the Auditor General is supposed to audit the accounts of the entire government, from Accra to Bunkurugu to Bolga to Elebu, and submit the report within 6 months. Therefore, in the course of these audits, a lot is left. In fact, the audit is done by sampling. We don't do census. It's sampling. So he goes there and pick a few transactions, review them, and see whether they are okay. So that is why later on, when we are doing a special audit, you will see that it reveals a whole lot of things. And gladly or thankfully, Section 16 of the Audit Service Act provides that in the national interest, the Auditor General can do special audits. So that's why we do special audits. When, even though we have audited the institutions, but information or intelligence shows that there is more to it, and that cannot be captured within the audit period, the Auditor General is mandated to commission special audits. That's where you find some of these things coming out and are mind-boggling. But again, let me say, the Constitution that gives this mandate to the Auditor General, the same article, Article 187, under Clause 7, also requires that the Auditor General, anytime he come across these infractions, should disallow and surcharge people. If there are no consequences for misbehavior, these abuses or infractions will continue to a level of impunity as we are seeing it today. You hear some figures and you are tempted to say, no, this is not true. But they are true. People are stealing public funds as if they have no head. And you ask yourself, what do you do with all these monies? It's because there are no consequences. So we must, as a country, put in place these low-hanging fruits by changing the legal framework, make internal auditors independent. The burden of proof moves to you, the accused. Once we can establish beyond reasonable doubt that their property belongs to you, then you must tell us how you acquired it, and then we put time limit within which these trials can be done. I think immediately it will bring deterrence in the public sector. Currently, there is no deterrence. People are not afraid. They've seen people who have done worse things and getting away with it. So they are doing it. We must change the way we are going.
If the law empowers the Auditor General to surcharge and disallow as one of the deterrents or the punishments to this misbehavior, why are we not seeing much of it?
I think you may have to call the Auditor General to answer that. When I was Auditor General, I think I was doing it. But you remember, I can hazard an opinion if you want to hear it.
I want to hear it.
Yes, I keep saying that if you fight corruption, corruption will fight you back. The accounts have a nice proverb that the tree which fruit Anansi ate and died, the child in Tikuma doesn't go and sleep under that tree. So he knows what happened to me when I was doing it. So maybe he's afraid of it. But the president, fortunately, has provided a better environment now. He has opened the door to say, let's do it. And has even called in the Chief Justice and the Attorney General and said, let's establish even specialized courts for the audit report. So I think the Auditor General should hit the road very hard. And I think that will bring deterrence. If you abuse public funds, disallow and surcharge, if the person doesn't agree, he should go to court and battle with the Attorney General once you continue your audit. I think if we go on that route, I think we shall make progress in less than 6 months. If you start seeing how they are holding ministers, directors, chief directors, etc. accountable, people will sit up whenever they see public funds. They don't like to touch it.